serious. People, oh people, you must remember that time doesn't wait on no one. No, so come on, forget the old stuff and all the setback. Let's make a fresh start, 'cause there's a lot of work to be done. We can't depend on them politicians, so it is our duty to take this sweet country progressing to higher heights. Oh, nobody say it would be easy, but we could make it if we try, and that's no lie. So we must join hand in hand and do what we can for our nation's sake. Our nation's sake. 'Cause when the sun goes down and the table turn, our country just wouldn't shake. It wouldn't shake. No more time for lapsing. This is time for nation building, people. Let's get serious. It's time for some action, so come out and make your contribution. Let's get serious. Needless you see it in there, pretending you don't care, because if trouble comes, it comes for all. Let's organize and plan to develop this plan and pay the penalty when the curtain fall. So come on, people, wake up. Let's get serious. The country needs a shake up. Let's get serious. No. La da da dee day da 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 do day. Bidi bidi bip bip bidi bip bip. La da 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 day. Ba da ba dee da day. Frustration, humiliation, and persecution we will encounter as we move along. But don't mind, 'cause our people, brave and united, can't be defeated. So be of good faith, 'cause the battle is not for the strong. No, it's true we have been through many changes, such as revolution and intervention, problems in every shape and size. Oh, betrayed and abused by politicians. It's God alone know how we survive. We survive. So let us move as one people, destined to fight this struggle for our nation's good. Our nation's good. So our children would be proud to say, our forefathers has paved the way. Paved the way. Too long we've been joking, and this life is not a joking matter. Let's get serious. If we don't get moving, our children would have no future. So let's get serious. We got to take a stand, do whatever we can, because the time is now, no time to wait. Let's organize and plan to straighten out this land, because tomorrow might be too late. So come on, people, wake up. Let's get serious. The country needs to shake up. Let's get serious. All politicians, wake up. Let's get serious. The country needs a shake up. Let's get serious. Whoa, my dear Prime Minister, wake up. Let's get serious. We need a new
avoidance committee called yesterday. Yeah, a role they want me to play. Consumption of alcohol gets so high. They want me find out the reason why. Check every rum shop in the country. Talk to every rum scene that I see. It was only then that I discovered Grenadians living under immense pressure. The farmer say he working from 6 to 6 year after year. He can make a small profit, bed and powder his banana. Would I have to get a little dollar? Watch the price they paying for mess to study nutmeg now. Is one big western vegetables they tiffin all. So he taking revenge on the alcohol. He say he mixing it. The farmer say he mixing it. Anytime he take a drink a glass coat like he have Mr. Gibbs up by his throat. So he's squeezing it. The farmer say he's squeezing it. He takes spicy jack and he overload. Feel like he mash up the whole damn nutmeg board. So he banging it. The farmer say he banging it. Farmer Brown, you take it easy. That can't help the farming industry. You could hold your head and ball, but don't take it out on the alcohol. Say you talking rum consumption, you have to talk to a policeman. So I bunks up one inside the city and decide to have a chit chat with me. He said the police force is a mess, fellas operating under duress. The canteen is the most exciting, so inside they all them police thing. You want duty civilians assaulting you, raise your hand, commissioner will fire you. But if you want to get promotion, you just have to go to church with the man. The public say we want the passport office, but I know the police won't do one thing like this. They have grievance, yes it did that bit, but it's the alcohol that does pay for it. He said they're mixing it. The police said they're mixing it.
This is not politics. Please don't forget, I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear, I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation.
And a good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott.
Fine. I am that I am.
Yes, I am the Sheldon Scott.
I am.
And I will be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
I am that I am. I am. That I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season.
And of course, I'm just making sure that I, dot all my I's, cross all my T's. And let me say a special good night to all of the young ones who are writing their CPA exam today. Yeah. So I hope that you all took your time, you focused on what you had to do during that examination today. I hope that you allowed God to go before you. Yeah, because when he go before you, he does be there to give a helping hand to bring you forward. So I hope that you all let him go before you. Yeah, and the parents who were there supporting them today. Yeah, I'd like to say a special congratulations to each and every one of you for doing an excellent job. Huh? Yeah, those who were waiting with the little water and the little snack and thing for them for the break time, when they had their break while they're writing the exam and all of that. We'd like to say a very special good night to all of you. And I know you're preparing for tomorrow. I hope the young ones, they should not be up by the time this program is finishing. They ought to be off to bed already so that they're well rested so that they can focus tomorrow. All right, so that they would be able to focus on the questions that are there and their responses. And especially to the young ones, remember to take the time to review the answers that you have given. Yeah, remember to take the time to review. Even though you're finished and you think, yeah, I finished and I finished fast and I think I have everything right. Yeah, that could make the difference between coming first in the island and coming third. Take your time, review the questions, go over them. Make sure that you have answered correctly. All right? So make sure you read them properly, that you understand them, and you go over them. If you are having issues with one, skip that one, go to the others, and then come back to it. All right? But make sure that you complete in the proper time and that you review the questions that you have to review and so on. All of your questions, review all of them, yeah? Nice.
We won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll
So tomorrow is day 2 of the CPEA.
you now refrain.
You know, I'm old school. I still say common entrance, you know.
And I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises. We won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain, you now refrain.
Let me say a special good night to all of you on the live. Shemi, I'm seeing you there. Let me see. I'm seeing Cleaver, Dennis, Miranda, Carol, Landon, Linda, Hermione, Maria, Norma, Cindy, Tyrone, Donna, Ann, Joan, Christine, cousin Christine. What's up? I'm seeing Elon. Well, no, I call Landon already. Landon, you're all over, Papa. All right. Let me see. Meryl, Yolan, Sonia, good night. Olive, Marishan, you're there as usual. Wendy, yeah, nurse, what's up? All right, Sharon, Gil, good night to you. Well, Jill, good night to you. Charmaine, Ingrid, Vanessa, McLean, Claude, Shauna, Wallan, good night to you, bro. I'm seeing Diana, Dorlin, good night. Monica, Leonard, Agatha, Winnie. Let me see. Trisha, Jillian, Yvonne Courtney, good night to you. And Cynthia, Esther, and Kenisha. I'm seeing all of you over there on the Facebook Live, saying a special good night to each and every one of you. And over on the YouTube, first person my eye fall on is Cousin Koi. Londa, how are you tonight, my dear? And let me see, Bernadette, I'm seeing you there. Stephanie, John, good night. Hermina, Gemma Warwood, good night to you. Derek, Andrea, Sky, Wilma, Dale, Alcy, Sherma as usual, Bernadette, Sarah Lynn, Kathleen, Faithlyn, Jocelyn, Amanda, and let me see, Janice is there. Henry, April, Dave, Phyllis, Eliza, Robert, Andrea, Derek, and I'm seeing Jakeem, good night, bro. The other Amanda Jeremiah, good night to you. Anastasia, Gavin, Angie, what's up? And Barbara, good night to you. Maud, good night to you. Let me see. Nursey Onika, good night to you, my dear. And let me see. Faithlyn, good night to you. Kathleen, good life. I see your day in the thing as usual. Jackie, Michelle Alexander, good night to you. Jillian Coban, good night. Alan Jones, Alan, we will talk. Shajan, good night to you. Listra, Wilfred, Matthew Bowen, you're in first tonight. So a special good night to all of you. Gertrude Abraham, I ain't see you talk, but I know you're there somewhere around. Kathy Albert, I know that you're listening as well. And my good friend Zingo, Mr. Adrian Watts, I know if you're not in now, you're not listening now. When you get in, you're going to get it, yeah? Cami, some people been asking me for Cami because they said they didn't hear her last night and they didn't hear her on any radio program this morning. Cami is okay. Yeah, I can tell you one thing, that sun in the day, it is draining, it is tiring, it is dehydrating. So sometimes when you're out in town, especially for the whole day, and then you go home, it's not easy to stay awake. So I know probably she would take a rest. I don't know for tonight. Most likely she might be listening now, and then she would go and take a rest and so on. All right, but Cami is okay. I made sure I passed by Cami because as I got in, I'm seeing several messages, where Cami? But she's good. All right. Joyce Philip, good night to you, my dear. I know that you're locked in as usual. And I know look the message there, man. Joyce is in. All right. So a special good night to all of you. All the nurses a special good night to you. My good listener that I saw this morning who is listening out there in St. Mark, I didn't take your name, but you know who you are. Yeah, you said, Shalom, we listen all the time out there in St. Mark. I want to say a special good night to you as well. All right? Nice. Beautiful. Let me see what I play in there, man.
Vain hoping you'll is the strain, but you're not refrain. You're not refrain. You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But who will restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth. And I'm counting no chicken before the hatch. Politicians sometimes form a crooked batch. After they get the vote, they now sing one note. But here comes Fort Judy and Nancy Payne with $1 million house and brand new car on the scene.
So let me let you all, I like to let you all know what's happening in the world of sports as well. Right. So Grenada's world champion, two-time world champion in the javelin, will be in action tomorrow. Yes, that's Anderson Peters. So he will be in action tomorrow. I don't know if any of the local stations, either MTV or GBN, will be bringing it. I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure if it will be online in Grenada, because what happens is with some of these events, they are geo-blocked. By geo-blocked, I mean that if, for instance, if you're broadcasting something in Grenada and you want everybody in Grenada to attend, there's a way you can block it on the internet so that no one in Grenada would be able to view it. Yeah? So I don't know if this is geo-blocked for Grenada or so, but it will be taking place tomorrow. Anderson Peters will be taking place in the Diamond League out there in Doha. And he will be seeking to top a field that includes Mr. Neeraj Chopra. And he has been an Olympic medalist, and he's also medaled in the World Championships and so before, I believe. And you also have other people there like Jakub Vladic. I think I'm pronouncing the name correct. Yeah, Vadlic. So he has, I believe he has also medaled, I can't remember if it's a World Championship or the Olympic Games. And so Kishon Walcott out of Trinidad and Tobago, former world Olympic champion, and I think he got a silver medal the second time around. Julian Weber. So he's in a tough field, but as you can see, his statistics speak for themselves. All right. So we're looking forward to Anderson Peters opening his season tomorrow. All right, in the javelin throw out there in Doha in the Diamond League. So we look forward to that. We're also seeking to get some new information in relation to when Kirani James and or other athletes. We tend to think it's just like Anderson and Kirani and so on. No, we have others that are out there and competing as well. So we're trying to get information as we get it. We'll pass it on to you again. I want to say thank you to It's Made in Grenada. Yeah, and Grenada Invitational. That's Dexter. Yeah, he puts out all of this. Dexter Mitchell. He puts out all of this information. Nearly on a daily basis, he's sending out information in relation to these activities. So we look forward to seeing our very own Anderson Peters, our reigning two-time world champion in the javelin. Yeah, he's going into it tomorrow in Doha, and we look forward to hear how he passes in that one. We know he will do his very best, and we look forward to that one. All right? Nice, yeah.
Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason.
And again, I've been listening today, and while listening today, I've been hearing some people trying to defend the actions of the government. And even before I go into them trying to defend the actions of the government, which in my humblest of opinions is there's no defense for what has been done to the poor people here in Grenada. They're always looking for some excuse. And as soon as they find themselves cornered, like in relation to the allied health thing, or in relation to the rush to remove the vendors without proper planning and that sort of thing, as soon as that happens, yeah, all of a sudden it's a situation where it's the NNP that was doing that, or the NNP did that and that sort of thing. Yeah? But we're going to speak a bit about that tonight. But before I get into that, and let me say a special good night to my good friend Ian out there in Canada. Ian, good night to you, bro. And as I'm in Canada, I must say a special, I can't say it with everybody else. So now I have to put Patricia and especially Matthew. I have to put their greetings separate to everybody else own. All right. So Patricia and Matthew out there in Canada, and my good friend Wade. Wade, are you up or you're down, boy? You didn't tell me today. If you're up or you're up to now, I still didn't do the thing, Wade. Up to now, I still didn't do that thing, Yeah. I had to be rushing up and down and, the normal run around. So I didn't get a chance to do that. But I want to read for you a release that was sent out by leader of His Majesty's Opposition, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. All right? And it reads, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, leader of the opposition and former Prime Minister, has expressed concern over the recent arbitrary and rushed move by the Deacon Mitchell administration to remove all street-side vendors as well as those located at the Grenada National Stadium car park to the St. George's Market. While Dr. Mitchell acknowledges that sidewalk vending is a problem, he is deeply troubled by the heartless and arrogant manner in which the process is being pursued. Government, he says, should ensure that any of the decisions it makes must take into consideration the plight of the poor and vulnerable citizens of our country. The leader of His Majesty's Opposition recognizes the importance of law and order, but he also understands the plight of the vendors who rely on this trade to make a living. He believes that the government has a responsibility to ensure that any decision affecting the livelihoods of its citizens is made in consultation with them and in a manner that is fair and just. Dr. Mitchell is therefore calling on the Deacon Mitchell administration to immediately address this problematic situation before livelihoods are put at irredeemable risk. He believes that the vendors have a right to be heard and that their concerns must be taken into account before any action is taken. Right? And that was a press release by leader of His Majesty's Opposition, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, speaking on the present situation with the vendors, because I was in town today, as I am nearly every day, and I realized that quite a majority of the vendors have already moved. They're not in the normal spaces, and so there are one or two stragglers behind, and we'll see what happens with that tomorrow, because as far as I believe, I think tomorrow may be the last day, or is it today's the last day? I'm not sure if it's no vending as of the 5th or no vending after the 5th. So I'm not sure if it is as of tomorrow or after tomorrow. And I think some of the vendors themselves are also confused as to whether it's no vending as of tomorrow or no vending after tomorrow. But definitely by Saturday, there will be no vendors on the streets of St. George. Now, while the Dr. Mitchell, as he has said, he understands that that can be a problem. Sidewalk vending is a problem. And yes, there is a need for the vendors to be relocated to the St. George Market. He is concerned about the way in which it is being done. Because I saw this release and I saw some people making some statements, and it's obvious, number one, that they did not read the release. And secondly, that if they did read the release, they already had their preconceived notions in their minds reading it. So they read it and they didn't see anything that was there. So they came out with a totally different story. As if Dr. Mitchell is saying, well, leave them people on the streets. No, he's not saying that. In this release, he has said, it is important to engage with the people, to speak with them, right? And to not rush to, you just come and tell people last week for this week, all you have to come out from there. The people have the bank, the credit union, they have different things that they're paying, yeah? They've got their rent to pay, they've got different things to pay. And they know that is how they make up their money. When they make up a little 100, 200 or so, they pay off something. They make up another and they pay off. So for you to just come to them and say, hey, you have to move, and not inform them of what the alternative arrangements are, and that is the biggest problem. The vendors are by and large not aware of what the alternative to where they are right now, what is the alternative? What are they expected to do? Where are they expected to go? And that is the crux of the matter. No one is saying, and no one has said, the press release is clear to anyone with an open mind who is seeing this from a clear vision. They understand what they're reading. That Dr. Mitchell is in no way saying, well, leave them on the streets. He is saying that there is a definite need to speak with them because, listen, some of them are poor people. A lot of them are poor and vulnerable people that are doing this to make the ends meet. And now you're simply telling them, you can't sell on the streets again. You can't be there. You know what that does to those individuals? When you just come arbitrarily and tell them that, and there's no alternative for them. And they're using the argument, well, NNP went and they moved all these people before, and they moved them and that sort of thing, yes. But they relocated them to different areas. In fact, look, those that were down after the fish market, when they were removed from there was an alternative. You're being moved from here, but we're providing a temporary alternative. Right? So again, we've said it on this program for the entire week, and we're saying it again tonight. No one is against removing, I don't think anybody, including the vendors themselves, are against moving sidewalk vendors off of the sidewalks and placing them in a central location. But is there enough space at that location to take in all of these people? I mean, I'm seeing things where people who have been vending, they said, for how many years, over a decade, and now they're being moved and they are not being afforded the opportunity to get a space. And then you have some political operatives out, well, I don't even want to call them political, they're just dunce, out there making statements like, oh, it's not the ministers and them, that is people within the ministry. It's not the ministers and them. Okay, hold on. It's not the ministers and them. Right. Folks, let me just get something here for you, eh? Because there are people out there that want to tell you it's not the ministers and them that are doing this. Right? Let me just get something here. I just want to pull it up. Make sure that I have the right thing here. Right. So they want to tell you it's not the ministers that are doing this thing. That it is people within the ministry that doing their own thing. People in the ministry just get up one day and decide they're doing their own thing. And they're trying to malign the ministers. I want you all to listen very carefully to what I am about to play. All right? Now, since some people want to give you the impression that is maybe the PSs and the SAOs and technocrats and so as they call them, within the ministries that just get up and doing thing, yeah, you're hearing what the vendor's saying, but before I play what the vendor's saying to you, in case you didn't hear what the minister was saying.
We have to put back some structure into the market, some structure into the sidewalks and make it more feasible. And, you know, listen, and if you have people visiting Grenada and coming to Grenada, this have to look better than this. We have to do a better job, you know. And my ministry, the Ministry of Infrastructure, is determined to get it straight and get it right.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, as he toured the St. George's Market Square on Wednesday. He heard the concerns of vendors and has some observations on what needs to be done to make the market a more conducive, proper functioning facility.
So what I did do, right, I'm making my duty to speak with the people, the vendors and so, in the market, to find out their concerns. And what we saw, you know, the garbage and so was not properly disposed of. You have people urinating and so all over the market. You had cases where people have their speakers and all sort of things, you know. Then you have the noise pollution that people are complaining about. We have a building that is dilapidated, and apparently they have current and so in the building, you know. So we have to take care of these things. And then, from a business standpoint, you hear the cry of the vendors saying that people are not coming to the market, and part of that problem could be that people are vending on the street.
It's long overdue, the sentiments echoed by vendors both within and on the outskirts of the St. George's Market, pointing to the unoccupied booth in the market square. The minister gave this assurance.
In the upcoming weeks, I should say, we will be looking to move the people from the sidewalks and so into the market. And we were going to have a strict policy where you cannot vend on the sidewalk. It may mean that not everyone that are on the sidewalk can come into the market, but we have to start from somewhere. It means working with them to get an alternative spot, then so be it. We may get some backlash from it, but that is some of the costs we have to face for development. Ministry of MIT and Infrastructure will be working this week and next week to put a plan in place, and we are going to execute on that plan. So I would say give us a month or so, and we will have something ready to work with. But we want to do it properly, right? And whatever we do have to make sense, and it have to make sense for the vendors and for the people.
Vendors who already occupy booths and have not been paying their monthly dues for the space will most likely face consequences.
That was brought to my attention, and we'll have to meet with the vendors and have a discussion with them as to how we go forward. Because we'll have to make a decision, with the booths. Because there are people outside who want to vend and who are willing to pay their rent, and they have to be given a fair chance if the people that are there now do not want to comply.
The minister's next stop was at the Grenville Market. Chrislina John, GBN News.
So, as I've said before, it seems as though GBN does be able to find the minister easy. I don't know why, but GBN does be able to find the minister easy. But you've heard the minister himself, because I hear certain people saying that is people in the ministry take and do their own thing. That I just played is from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. What I have just played for you is from 2 weeks ago. You heard him say that they're going to put things in place and not everybody might come in and they go out to make alternatives. So he knew, Andy Williams, the Minister of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, knew 2 weeks ago when that report came across GBN that they did not have enough space in the market to take everybody in. He knew. And he said they would take a month. Now, 2 weeks ago to now is not a month. So somebody rushing something somewhere, as we said, they like to rush. Right? And when they rush, they're doing thing chang chang. Somebody remember that? Yeah. They're doing thing chang 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 chang. So they rushed to remove these people from where they are, and they have not made proper accommodations for them in the new location, back to the St. George Market Square. So you're hearing now that two have to draw for lots and that kind of thing. Some people are saying they hear me low, yeah. Some people are saying they have to draw for lots and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I understand if they have to draw for lots, I could understand that, Don't think I'm against it. I could understand they have to draw for lots. But we're saying, how is this taking place? Is there something that speaks to seniority? So how long you've been vending? Is there something that speaks to, okay, you've only been vending for the last 3 months and this person has been vending for the last decade, so we're going to give this one priority over you? Or is it first come, first serve? Because the vendors themselves don't take my word for it that the vendors don't know. Let me see if I could find that, right? Let me see if I could find that with the vendors themselves, because it seems as though the vendors for themselves are unaware, right? Unaware of what they need to do. And no, that's not it. Where is it? Yeah, I need to find this one because the vendors themselves have a problem. So I'm just trying to pull it up here for you so that you can hear for yourself what some of the vendors have been saying. All right, so let me put that on for you about now.
Over 15 vendors visited the ministerial complex on Wednesday with the hope of having a discussion with officials in the Ministry of Infrastructure to discuss their relocation to the newly refurbished St. George's Market. After nearly 4 hours outside the building, they aired their frustration to the media, claiming that they are treated with no respect or regard. The vendors who would normally sell their produce at the National Stadium parking lot claim that prior to the public statement issued by the Ministry of Infrastructure on Tuesday, no meeting was held to discuss the details of their relocation to the St. George's Vendors Market.
I want to know what's going on. They have to come better and tell us something. They say they pass on message for people and social media. Me don't know nothing about social media. I don't know nothing about social media. They have all right to come and have a meeting with us and make us know what's going on. They have all right to come and have a meeting with us. Them people not doing things the right way. They have to do things the right way. You understand?
Yes. Have a meeting with the vendors in the market. I mean, you come on Saturday because they where the most people does be. And you come and you say something like, have a meeting with us and hear what we're going to say. We don't mind moving out from there because, we know it's not a market. But, we have to move out, tell us where we're going.
The whole bunch of sellers from the stadium is here today, which they said is 6 people they send on call. The rest have to wait until they get time for them to sort out the problem before they get everybody in. So it's only 6 people they are going to see today. And they will see some tomorrow and maybe further down in the week. But the problem I have is I sell on Fridays and Saturdays in the stadium. So the problem I have is I want to know where we're going to sell Friday and Saturday.
Vendors say they were told by their colleagues that there will be a 1 p.m. meeting at the ministry on Wednesday, but upon arrival at the ministerial complex, they were told by ministry employees that the meeting was set only for 6 vendors. With Thursday being the last day of market at the stadium, they are asking where to ply their trade from Friday onwards.
And they asked me my name, I told them my name. And they asked me how long I'm vending for. I tell them more than 20 years. So I told them, and I have a meeting this morning. They told me no. So she told me to come down for 1:30. I reached down and only seen a set of people sit down waiting all now. That's it.
We're in the stadium. They say you don't have meeting, no meeting up here. Okay, well, you don't have meeting. You see so much of vendors here. Please come out and tell us, the market closed Friday and Saturday. Come out and tell us where we are going to Friday and Saturday. Nobody don't come out. Only 6 persons, they say, and it's 6 persons. So we want to know if it's only 6 persons what's selling in the stadium. Next week we go by the road Friday, police come in and chase us. You understand? So they're treating us as dogs.
The vendors are calling for those in authority to do this the right way and fast, as the present situation threatens their livelihood.
What happened? We have to know what's going on. Mr. PM, Mr. Prime Minister, or whosoever. We don't want to go and commit ourselves. This for that done. We want you to come and do something and do it speedily and do it decently for us.
On Tuesday, the Ministry of Infrastructure, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation and Transportation issued a statement informing the general public that with effect from May 5, 2023, there will be no vending at the Kirani James National Stadium. The statement further informed the general public that all vending will return to the St. George's Market from the said date. The Ministry of Infrastructure thanked the general public for their continued cooperation and support in this transition process. GBN attempted to contact ministry officials for a comment on the matter, but the phone was unanswered. One of our reporters also made a call to the Minister of Agriculture, Adrian Thomas, but that call also went unanswered. We will continue our efforts to obtain a response from the government and provide this in a subsequent newscast. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Yeah, so there it is. You've heard the minister 2 weeks ago saying that they would be removed. You saw him meeting with the vendors who are already at the market, not the people who have to leave and come over to the market, He went and he met with the vendors who were already there. And you're hearing some of them have not been paying, they have to come out and so. All right? And I would say, okay, they've not been paying. Find out why. Next thing, it is a situation that there is not enough flow of customers on a normal time for them to be able to make the money to pay. And maybe you have to think of how you're going to increase the flow of people through the market square. Because understand this, back in the 1990s, when we used the market square, remember that was the bus terminal and the market square at the same time. Young ones, stay aside. All you know about this thing. That was the bus terminal and the market square at the same time. So, you might be sitting on a bus and remember you need to get something and you just jump off, you run and you buy it and you come back right there on the bus. Now, you've got to take whatever it is from the market square over to where the bus terminal is. Yes, our country has been growing. We increased number of buses and everything. So you had to have a bigger space. You could not have left the buses where they were, right? But understand that. And understand, is there a heavy flow of people? It's not where all the buses were coming into the market square itself, and therefore people were going and people would buy what they have to buy sometime and just jump right back on a bus and you're out of town or whatever it is. It is now a situation that is separate from the bus terminal. So therefore the flow of people passing through is different. And that may be a consideration as to why certain people cannot meet their commitments. And if that is so, then we have to look at what ways, what mechanisms we can use to increase the flow of people passing through the facility to ensure that everybody could get a little sale. Yeah? But you don't just pick up people and you just dump them. Or in fact, in this instance, they're not even dumping people, you know. They pick you up and they throw you out. If they dump you, it means they put you somewhere. But they ain't even putting them somewhere. So this is not me saying this, you know. That is the vendors speaking for themselves. And you could go and talk. Well, you can't ask them tomorrow because listening that piece, now we realize that, hey, there is no vending as of in the morning. So nobody's supposed to be out there vending on the streets in the morning. Yeah? And we expect that the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force will be out to ensure that this happens. Yeah? I know a lot of businesses around town going to be happy for that. Right? And no one is saying leave sidewalk vending. No one is saying, yes, fellas supposed to come and start to put up, after they start selling just so with a tray or something, you realize next thing they start to build out. And by the time you check yourself, you realize like they have a whole structure at the side of the road. No one is saying that is what is supposed to take place. What we are saying is that the minister 2 weeks ago said that in a month's time, they would finalize a plan to be able to move everybody. Yeah? Now 2 weeks later, you have already told the people, look, they had to move. And in fact, you tell them since last week, so 1 week later, you told the people all you had to move and all you had to move by that date. So when you see Dr. Mitchell sends out a release in relation to that, it is not that he is for sidewalk vending and he don't want them move anybody from the sidewalk or so, but that it must be done in a decent manner. And arrangements must be made for these people because what they are operating is a business, and what you have really and truly officially told them is that some of them business close as of tomorrow. There's no other way to look at this, you know. So those who've been lying and trying to twist the thing around right now and have it out there that, it's people inside, them NNPite inside, they're trying to spoil thing, and people trying to spoil thing and so on. And somebody just sent a lovely picture to me of the St. George Market Square back in the heyday. That's when the buses from everywhere used to come down there, and therefore you could go, the bus reach, you go, you buy what you have to buy, you jump back on the out of town. Or even if you're going to shop in other places around town, when you finish, you do your market last, and then you on the bus, out of town. Yeah? I know, my grandmother used to send me down there to go and get pudding and farine and all kind of thing by a very old lady. And my grandmother was 80-something, and she said that lady was her elder, so that lady had to be nearly 100. Yeah? But those were the days when that used to happen. It's not the same situation now, which is why people have branched off and trying to sell on the side streets, and you see they're trying to sell because they're trying to reach people where they are, where there's a heavy flow of traffic, so that they can get the sale. That's why you even have some of the people who've been selling on the streets actually selling for people that have this space in the market, you know. There are people who in the market with the space there, but still have somebody selling on the streets for them because they realize that's where the money is. So it is a much more complicated situation than it may seem at first glance, and it's not a situation that you could just come and tell people, hey, your business, how you're sending your children to school, how you're taking care of your elderly parents and grandparents, how you're paying your bills. You cannot simply just go and heartlessly, cold, and I mean, there's so many adjectives you could use to describe this, but just go to people and tell them, hey, your business closed after today. So they don't have any business tomorrow. And they do not know if they would get the opportunity to get a space in the market square. Yeah? And then some of those who are already in the market, you're telling them now, watch, you haven't been paying. You didn't even say, well, okay, let's check and see why they haven't been paying. Let's work out a payment plan so that they can pay off what they have. Yeah? Let's give them a haircut. Because all you're asking for haircut and all kind of thing for marketing board. All you even offer the people a haircut. Yeah? And where's the manager of the market? I hearing things, you know. Where's the manager of the market? Manager of the market on work? I would like to know if the manager of the market is on work. Yeah? Anybody could tell me. Cammy, you know? Cammy, I know you does know all what going on in town. Camille Teresa Scott. You does know. All you could call in. Anytime already, all you could call. Yeah, Camille Teresa Scott. I want you to tell me if you know what's going on. The market manager out? Again, it is the constant attacks on the poor and vulnerable in Grenada. Yeah? It's the poor man that feel it. Yeah? So once again, you heard the vendors yourselves. You heard them. Some of them selling how much years in town. And nobody is saying because they sell how much years in town mean they must be allowed to continue selling in town. We're making that clear. It means that they should be given some sort of treatment in a human and decent way when and offered a space. I mean, come on, man. We can't be operating like that. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon, good night. You don't call me out, you know.
I must call you out.
And
People want to
night
hear you.
People.
Come out and talk.
Sheldon, to be honest, I don't know who's the manager now, you know. I know, under the NNC time, was Mr. Mason was there, the ex-police officer, and then they had Miss Gibbs, and them was there, and Sabu and them. But no,
Sabu and them gone long.
NDC coming, I don't know who is the manager. They had the woman, what he attacked you when you interfere with you. I think they said she used to be around.
No, not there.
Lady.
Not she there. Not she that was there. Somebody else somebody else that is there, but I'm asking if they are there now. Or if they out on vacation, they out on leave.
To be honest speaking.
Cammy?
I don't know what is going on in this country. And I don't know if you have a prime minister here and he know what's going on. Because look, this afternoon, with my problem and the bus terminal, Mr. Scott, I paid $780-something and cents for the booth and the terminal. And we tenants, just listen to me, Grenadians. When you rent an apartment for anybody, you have to rent the toilet too. And every time we go in the toilet, we have to pay $1. One of the workers that's working in the office, in the main office and the terminal, he was there. I went in there to use the bathroom. I said, are you so wicked? We paid all that rent. And every time we come to use the washroom, we have to pay $1. Pay the $1. And what be? That's why he tell me, you know. I say, are you too wicked? That is wickedness. So if you go in the washroom 10 times, but it's $10, and I still have to pay me rent for the month. I don't owe them. I tell him, I say, listen to me, sir. Ambrose was there. He gone. Mr. Lord is deceased. I said, Mr. Haywood was there. I said, don't worry. You're going just now, too. So that's the kind of treatment they just give people in this country. All the vendors that you show them. Yes, these people selling, you know. Yes. We give you and show you play the clip. Yes, these people selling. They was by the fish market, and then they bring them in the stadium. No, my God. Tomorrow is drama in the market, you know. Tomorrow is drama, Mr. Scott. Tomorrow is drama in the town. So, my heart goes to some of them because I know them. But it's we that bring that on ourselves. They warn us. All the NNP supporters in NNP warn us. We were sticking ways. Look now. One term Deacon Mitchell. One term. Because you know here in Mr. Deacon Mitchell as the Prime Minister of this country that said in a clip that for people that build this country, right now the Grenadian people, Mr. Mitchell, as the Prime Minister, they need to hear from you. What you want them to do? The Minister of Agriculture, the man was singing Calypso. The people want to hear from you. All these bad mind people, and all you can do me nothing. All you dare come in. That is wrong. When I watch all these people, some of them used to jump up too, you know. Some of them I see talking there. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't bring that on ourselves. And we, the Grenadian people, have the power. These people don't have power, you know. If everybody put on the tool in this country, you don't have a government. You don't have a prime minister in the morning. If everybody that listen to me get up in the morning and they say they put on the pen and they don't touch a computer in the ministry, in the complaint, they don't have a government. All you have to remember, we are the government. We put these people there to work for us, and we could take them down in the morning. But what are you doing to Grenadian people? Why you call water? We are only talk, we call water. If everybody put on the tool, you don't have a Dickie Mitchell government again. Because they suffer in us. But are you greedy? Are you studying? Watch. I don't understand what is going on. That is poor people, you know. Lennox Andrews, that is poor people. Miss Gloria Thomas, that is poor people. What do you want us to do? Put on the don't go to work and they want to see what they go do. If everybody in Grenada can go and pity Martinique decided not going to work, that is the end of them, you know. Simple. Good night, Grenada.
Gabby, good night to you. Folks, so 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. But you see, there are people that are still defending this, you know. There are people that are still defending this. Imagine, Dr. Mitchell put out his release today, and there are people attacking him under the release. Saying, well, he used to move people too, and all this guy. No, the situation is different now. Yeah? Because we know, under the NNP administration, NNP always used to try to assist as many as possible. If a storm passed close to Grenada, and he floods some areas and people crops get damaged, or he mash up people crops somewhere, the NNP government put in something in place to help pay the people for the crops and that kind of thing, to try and help them. Always been trying to help small businessmen. Not just through COVID. Through COVID, there was a lot of it done. But not just through COVID. Several other times, you've seen the New National Party attempting to help people. Yeah? Especially when there's something like that happening. So you can't just decide that you're just going and move the people and you just pick them up. And good night to you, Nigel. I see you there. I see you there, Papa. But you can't just decide that you're just going and move the people and you don't care nothing about it. You just move them. You all heard what I played. When the program is over, I wouldn't play it again tonight, but when the program is over, go and listen over. What the minister said, he said in a month's time. Then a week after, they send people to tell the people that they go. In a month's time, we'll have a plan in place where we could move the people and we could shift. That's what he said. Then all of a sudden, they just go and they move the people. Yeah? It's the same kind of behavior when it comes to the allied health care professionals. And let me take this call and then I'll get back to that one. Hello. Okay, I missed that call. Yeah, it's the same type of behavior when it comes to the allied health professionals. Yeah? Right now, because they know, and I see a person send a name and thing there for me and say, yes, I want to know how come they bring them. Yeah, so this is taking place and the manager of the market is absent. Yeah, they're absent right now. They're not there. So it probably, I don't know if it have an acting manager. I don't know. Yeah? And just remember, through all of this, the minister who is in charge of all of that's taking place there is the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell himself. He is the minister in charge of works and public utilities and so on. So all that's taking place right there, right now. Remember who is the line minister? Mr. Mitchell himself is the line minister. We have a call online.
Sheldon, good night.
Hello, good night, my dear.
Yeah, I just called to ask that Andy was a Christian.
Well, I wouldn't know, you know, my dear.
Yes, because when I used to go down there and buy, I know me and he used to speak, he called himself a Christian, so I want to know where the Christianity gone. I want to know if he's a Pharisee. That is how the Pharisees do to get on with Christ, so I don't know what is really going on with him. Christianity gone away from him. He had no mercy, no pity, no nothing. Well, something wrong with the Christianity. The devil take over his life.
Oh, God. Good night, my dear.
The devil take over. So, party make him put God aside. So he have no God in him anymore. This trip is the devil that have him like that.
All right, my dear. Yes, and I see one of my listeners is saying they're flying like, yeah, no, I tell you already. Right now, the Prime Minister and them flying more than Lugaru on Moonlit Night. Yeah, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. They like Lugaru. Up. Every minute you check for them, they're in the air, you know? A ball of fire. Folks, here's what. Before I take our next call, I want to play something for you all. Because they've also been saying that when it comes to the Allied Healthcare Professionals Act, that was passed by the new National Party. Now, let me give you some background on that. This was first introduced in the year 2010. 2010. In other words, it was introduced under the last NDC administration, not under the new National Party administration. Yes, there were amendments to the act during the period of time of the new National Party. There were amendments to the act, right? But the schedule that included all these barbers and different people like that, that was done by the NDC. That was not done by the new National Party. That was done by the NDC. But as usual, they're trying to give you, and I'm trying to find something here. But before I get to that, you know what? Let me play this one for you because I want you to hear. I don't want you just think and say shall and say no. Listen to this.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell says government will implement more surveillance measures to monitor the compliance of allied health practitioners. This as government seeks to amend the Health Practitioners Act to improve the delivery of quality health care as part of its transformation agenda. Allied health may be defined as those health professions that are distinct from medicine and nursing and includes dental hygienists, diagnostic medical sonographers, dietitians, medical technologists, therapists, and radiographers, among others. According to Prime Minister Mitchell, government will work closely with the Allied Health Practitioners Council to monitor the various operations which can expedite the flagging of non-compliant or delinquent practitioners to prevent them from taking advantage of citizens.
One of the things that has to happen, I think, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that because I think licensing and registration and regulating has not always been a strong point for professionals in general. And in this case, with the allied health professionals, there's so many of them. And I kind of just wanted to highlight, the massive list. Medical social worker, for example. You have to be registered. And so you see people may unwittingly get caught up. And that's why the education is important, because obviously the Ministry of Health and the various councils, the medical and dental council, the other councils that are responsible for registering, the pharmacist council, etc., Mr. Speaker, we intend to give these various bodies the necessary resources and to make sure that they can, in fact, police and monitor and educate to make sure that persons don't get caught, both from the point of view of the practitioners themselves, to make sure that they understand their obligations, they understand what is required of them, they understand they need to be constantly educating and improving themselves. They need to be current to continue with further education and further updates in terms of making sure they're current with whatever licensing or regulation requirements they need to make, as well as ensuring that the public is aware of who are the persons who are licensed. Because I think that is important as well. We have to ensure that the public knows who are the persons who have met the requirements who are licensed. So whether it's at revenue offices, medical stations, and other places where people can get that information online, that these are the licensed persons, these are the ones that are authorized to do the things they claim they're doing.
Leader of Government Business in the Lower House, Honorable Philip Telesford, presented the bill in Parliament on Friday to encourage allied health practitioners to adhere to legislation to be registered and licensed or face strict penalties.
Failure to be registered only, and the maximum penalty is a fine of $100,000 or 3 years in prison. Paragraph B addresses failure to be licensed and registered. The maximum penalty is a fine of $250,000, 5 years imprisonment. And C addresses failure to be licensed only. The maximum penalty is $50,000.
All right, folks. So you've seen there, was that the new National Party that was in Parliament passing that? No, I want you all, when they say their nonsense, I want you all to just refer them to, this program will be up. This program, it will be up on YouTube, it will be up on Facebook and so on. And if they want a copy, they can just request a copy from me. I will provide them with an MP4 of the program. Was that the new National Party that was making those amendments in December of 2022 to the Allied Healthcare Professionals Act? Was that the new National Party that was doing that? And I'll come back to the phone lines in a little while. You all hold on. Yeah? Was it the new National Party? Because I'm hearing they're sending things around saying, oh, it's wicked and NP people inside there who put that in place. That was the Prime Minister. Mr. Deacon Mitchell was the one that was speaking there. Yeah? He was the one that was speaking there. So they can't come and say how it is the new National Party that was putting that in place. Yes, there were consultations that the new National Party attempted to have. Hold on with the calls. There were consultations that the new National Party attempted to have in relation to this issue. But I could tell you something for sure. Had it been the new National Party that was implementing this, and again, none of the allied healthcare professionals are against being licensed and registered. None of them. I've spoken to many. I've spoken to my barber today. I've spoken to other barbers. I've spoken to hairdressers. I've spoken to nail techs. I've spoken to several of them. Masseuse, different people. They are not against being registered. They are not against being licensed. Because it'd be a nice thing, you're going to a barber shop and you see a license inside there. No, this is a licensed guy and everything. Right? They are not against that. What they are against is that you give them basically 8 weeks to complete the process. When you know that certain aspects of that, in fact, maybe they know. Maybe they know and they're just wicked. Or maybe they don't know because they're ignorant of the facts. But the bottom line is that to be certified, especially to be certified and assessed due to prior knowledge. In other words, you have learned to do hair on your own by just doing people here. You've learned to cut hair on your own by just cutting people here. There's no barber school in Grenada. Where do you expect them to be certified? Some have been certified outside of Grenada. There are 1 or 2 barbers like that. Good luck for them, right? But there are the majority of barbers, and so they're not certified by any other institution. Yeah? So you know that for them to be certified is going to take 3 to 6 months. And the new National Party sent out a release today. I'm going to take the calls in a little while. The new National Party sent out a release today in relation to this issue. And I just want to read that press release quickly for you all. All right? So The New National Party calls on the government of Grenada to support allied health practitioners in registering and obtaining their license. The recent amendments to the Health Practitioners Act requires all practitioners such as barbers, hairdressers, and nail technicians to obtain a license to practice. Recently, practitioners were notified that they must be registered by June the 30th. Failure to register and obtain a license can result in a summary charge of up to $250,000 or 5 years in prison. While the party supports the urgency to lift the standard of services in the beauty and wellness industry, we are appealing to the government to find a way to assist those who will not be able to meet the June 30th deadline. The New National Party also calls for an extension to the timeline for the registration process. Additionally, the fees associated with obtaining a license can be costly for some, and we urge the government to offer financial support to those who need it. The New National Party believes that our healthcare industry's success depends on the collaboration and support of all healthcare professionals, including allied health practitioners. We urge the government to take action to ensure the success and sustainability of our healthcare industry. We further call on all stakeholders in the healthcare industry to work together to create a supportive and collaborative environment for all healthcare professionals as well as clients. All right? So you all understand that the New National Party is not saying that this isn't important to do. It is saying, yes, do it. But why the rush in the way that you just come, you're rushing to, and who again? Is the poor people that feeling it, the healthcare providers that have their certification and everything ready and their money, they could go ahead and do it, and that might be 0.5% of the entire amount of them. Yeah? That could actually do that. So why again is the people who struggling to pay their rent right now for their business place, who's struggling to keep on the electricity so that the hairdryers and the clippers could work, who's struggling right now? Those are the ones who are being forced right now within 8 weeks. Well, now it's 7 weeks because this week done. So within 7 weeks, come on, let's hear from them themselves. Let me see if I could find where they were speaking. And let me see if I could find that, let me see if I could find where they themselves were speaking in relation to this issue so we could hear from the healthcare professionals themselves. So let's go to that. You realize I'm playing a lot tonight. I want you all to hear for yourselves what was said.
On Monday, the National Training Agency, the Grenada National Accreditation Board, and the Allied Healthcare Professional Council met with beauty and healthcare providers to update them on the process of being certified, accredited, insured, and licensed in order to continue to operate on the island. The costs and procedures relating to these requirements did not sit well with the service providers, and as such, people found it necessary to speak up on the matter.
But I'm saying we are beseeching the government, the people involved, the board. We are beseeching you all to please look at this document again. You understand? And come through with something that everybody can be happy with. We are happy with the certification. You understand? It's something of proud for you to put your certificate in your relevant, salon or whatever, in display, and say, well, you're qualifying this, you're qualified in that. But I'm saying that most people here are angry. It's like something being forced down your throat. Whether you like it or not, you take it. You understand? And the world doesn't work that way anymore. It's not like we're not appreciative of what they are trying to do, but you have to do it the right way.
Why this pressure is coming upon us? Because it's a pressure, and I heard you said that there's nothing you can do with that paper you have there. That is not true. Listen, everything make and anything could break. And listen, we could come, we could sit down, and we could put things on the table. The products went up sky high. My light bill forever in my home alone is $500 plus. So we're talking about at least I have to budget for $600 for my light bill at my home alone. I'm not talking at the shop. Go back to who, whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's who health, whether it's what, and I am serious about it, because then a lot of people will be closing down, and it's more problem in the country. Come on.
These new guidelines fall under Section 2, subsection 55 of the Health Practitioners Act. It is essential to bring the beauty and healthcare industry in Grenada to regional and international standards. Dr. Nicole Forth, chair of the Allied Healthcare Professional Council, explains.
That govern your practice. It's just that Grenada has been doing it wrong for so long that it starts to feel right. We are now getting abreast with international and regional standards so that you can provide the quality of care to the nation. And as a tourist destination, you don't want legal actions to come against you. This is a national requirement. We do understand that with changes and everything that is new, it's going to be a struggle.
With the meeting going sideways, officials at the head table advised the group to come together and form an organization that can be met with those in authority to air their concerns so that both parties can meet a common understanding.
Now, I would like to speak to the barbers and the hairdressers. If you guys could come together and form an association, have a little chairman, and then you say, okay, our association would like to meet with the GNTA to discuss X. We would like to meet with the Allied Health to discuss the fees, to discuss the procedures, the documents, whatever.
Business owners who fail to meet the requirements stipulated on Monday can be fined over $100,000 or spend time in prison. For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
So yeah, you've heard there from the practitioners themselves. They sound happy. Listen, and if you listen carefully, none of them said that it is not necessary. They said, look, this would be a nice thing to be able to have your certificate hang up in your place. Same thing some others told me. Yeah, it would be a nice thing to have your certificate in there, your license. Anybody could come from any part of the world and they know, oh, this person is certified, they're licensed, everything. They get their nails done, they get their hair done, whatever it is, that the person is properly licensed. But how can you expect to roll out something like that in 8 weeks? It was not a situation that you said, well, okay, within this 6-month period, because remember, when you saw the Prime Minister speaking, that was December, I spoke on this issue. One of the allied healthcare professionals, who shall remain nameless, but I know that she's listening, raised this issue with me earlier in the year. And I did a program where I spoke about this thing. That is how I still have all my information here. Like the list of people. Let me see. The list of people and the certificate and all of those things. The fees that have to be paid and so on. I was told about this thing quite a while ago. So we had the information. We knew. We spoke about it here. But again, not everybody listens to this program. And how many people read the government gazette? How many people even know what the government gazette is? So how many people would read the government gazette and be able to look there and say, well, okay, this thing affects me, Because there's a list of the people that are affected. This is the new schedule that was put out. And these are the list of people that were affected. It was gazetted on the 23rd of December when everybody's studying Christmas. When everybody's studying Christmas and the family and who fixing up house and all kind of thing, looking to make a little paint here and there and so, getting your food and thing together, making your plans, how you're spending your time with your family. The eve of Christmas Eve. That's when this was put out. And if you want to know which minister is responsible, let me tell all you which minister was responsible for that. Yeah? I'll tell all you which minister was the minister that signed this one.
Let me see you show me the yellow, show me the yellow, show me the yellow, show me the yellow. Are we voting for Laco? Voting for Laco. We voting for Laco, Laco, Laco. I say we voting for Laco, Laco, Laco.
Yeah, so we know who was the minister that signed it, eh? He could have stayed Perseverance. He didn't need to come down to Cherry Hill because with this kind of nonsense, he could have stayed in Perseverance. Folks, the phone lines are open. I just missed a call there. 440-7377. You can call. Yeah. You understand? Now, I just wanted you all to know which minister was responsible for signing that. Yeah, because he, as the Minister of Health, was the one that signed it. Yeah, it was in his name. Yeah? So this is something that has been passed, that is there, and that now people are being forced, as the lady said, being rammed down their throat. We have a call on the line. It's being rammed down their throat. Hey, Cammy.
Sports are like America. You know why I like America?
I will always love America.
America, they do that to these people. Everybody in front of the White House with a placard. All these people have to do, make all your placard and go up in the complex and go on the top and wait when the Michelle come out of the big van. And I stay there and give him, we just stuck too much in Grenada. Stacking. Nobody not doing nothing. So whatever they say, as you man say, they want to push it up with you. It's a good thing I don't know now, you. I would have really love to meet that Prime Minister face to face.
Don't man, go pass by you.
Don't tell him what I have to tell him. They put in me in which running. Serious, you know. I would have loved to meet that man face to face. I don't know why you don't come on the terminal. Come on the terminal, girl. Pass. Because I really want to tell you what to tell you. I know it was in America. Every take the street there in front of the white, in front of the complex. All the people are doing here and the market vendors. All you wait for him. Go up there with your placard and wait for the man and tell him how you feel. They can't do all you nothing. Now they're speaking for your right.
Cammy?
Country.
Cammy?
Yes.
I'll call it.
Good night to Matthew and Patty.
We'll give our next caller a chance. You'll call back.
Yes.
All right, my dear.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And we have a next call on the line. Good night.
Hey, good night, Shagan.
Hey, good night. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. I had to raise you a little bit. In your low. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what troubling me about this whole thing? Is that, well, I'm a barber. And I visit Tom CC to try and see if I could register to take the little courses or whatever to start the process. And they're telling me that they can't start until they get 10 people.
My goodness.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you still have to wait?
So I have to wait. And they're telling me in 7 weeks' time, my business will close down. But Tom CC not ready yet. I have to wait on 10 people. You understand the kind of shippiness that's going on?
Huh.
They don't put down the necessary infrastructure in place to accommodate us. But they're giving us deadlines.
And this is the thing. No, I'm sure you would like to be certified, you would like to be licensed and that kind of thing, but watch at the time frame. The time frame and the costs associated. How they expect you to be operating a business that you're using to feed your family and still be able to take out money to do all of this in that space of time? Just rush. That's the thing. Just rush in.
I really don't know what the rush is about, but Father, help us, sorry. Good night. Sorry.
All right. Thank you very much. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call. And let me give you all an example of what some of the professionals have to go through. They have to do what you call the assessment of prior learning through the National Training Agency. Yeah? And here are some of the things that they're asking for in that. They're asking for this list, the candidate's daily work activities, what you're doing daily, the candidate's prior work experiences, where you work before, what you do there, certificates from previous learning activities, courses, or programs if you have that, leisure activities, what you just do in your free time. They want to know your job descriptions, testimonials or recommendations, video and audio recordings, observations by assessor or mentors. So you have to have an assessor mentor come in and do assessment. Authenticating reports, whatever that is, certificates, transcripts. You need case studies. All of this they have to put together and present to the NTA to be able to be licensed. Right. Historical evidence, personal statements, workplace assignments, projects undertaken, products, work samples, models, drawing plans, photographs with explanations of some of the things that you do. Some of the people here are nails and they had to present that too. Signed statements from some of your clients describing your work done for them, private jobs. Bills showing materials you purchase and so to perform a task, jobs in particular skill area. Invoices and quotations for jobs, and a resume of your work history. That's just what you have to think. Then you have to put that into a format of a portfolio. Each portfolio must include under the following headings. This is directly from the Grenada National Training Agency. A title page, table of contents, acknowledgement, resume, certificates and transcripts, core evidence presentation, all the other stuff they just asked for there. Your testimonials right after that, glossary of terms and abbreviations, and then a bibliography. All of that they're asking for. Yeah? All of that is what they're asking for to be able to license people. Hello? Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon, good night.
Good night, my brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. And good night to Grenada. Good night to Dr. Mitchell. And MPI, good night. Hey, Sheldon, that issue there with our beauticians and barbers and the rest of the works. Earlier this year, when Honorable Minister Ranwell had said what he said about I don't know if you have that clip there.
I don't have it here, but I have it. I should have it home.
Hello, Sheldon?
No, I said I don't have it here, but I might have it home. I think I know which one you're referring to.
Yeah, when he said something about that, that is not a profession or something like that.
Yeah, he said that last year.
That was an idea to let. Yeah, hello, go ahead.
No, I said he said that last year, but go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but somewhere around there. That was an idea to let us know what these people think about people. And I was one of them that called for people not to take that lightly because this was their livelihood. And if somebody, especially in that power and authority, speaking that way about your livelihood, I remember vividly saying to Grenadians, you have to demand an apology from the minister, making them kind of ridiculous statement about their livelihood. And now you see what come to fruition. So sometimes when these people say things, you have to pay serious attention to it. Because, he said that and everybody just sat by and think it was nothing, but that's what they had in store. They look at this thing as nothing. They think, well, because he said it, it's not a profession. So that's why they're treating the people like that. It's just sad to see. I don't know what else they're going to stoop to, but Grenadians hold tight. A short time before election come around again. Thank you very much.
All right, my friend. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers you can call to get on the inside. You can call us on WhatsApp as well on 440-7377. You can call us on that number as well. Yeah, like play a piece in that song again, man. Yeah, that's for all the allied healthcare professionals.
In the area, almost nothing to show. The people tired and fed up, and they voting no for Laco. We voting for Laco, Laco, Laco. I say we voting for Laco, Laco, Laco.
Yeah, just remember that's what I said. Voting for Laco. Just remember who it is that signed that thing, yeah? Just remember that is, yeah, that one, right? And when it comes to the market, just remember that the Prime Minister, he's the Minister of Public Utilities, etc., yeah, public utilities, infrastructure, etc., right? That's the Prime Minister. So the market facility falls under his, I hear to call him Minister of Agriculture. Minister of Agriculture don't have nothing to do with that, That is the Prime Minister Ministry. That is infrastructure and so on. Yeah? You heard that in the GIS report that was played there. You heard that as well. Yeah? So it's all kind of thing now. They're trying to place it and say it's NNP. So when they take $150 away from the most poor and vulnerable among us, what did they come and do? You all remember? They blame NNP. They say NNP only put it for a year. As if they did not know that when you are doing a budget, you can only budget for a year from January 1st to December 31st. That is when your budget lasts. It expires on the 31st of that year. And therefore, whoever is in power, be it the same people or whoever else comes in, has to make the budgetary provisions for whatever payment it is in the following budget cycle. They refused to do it. Initially, they said they're doing it. Initially, the minister, Gloria Thomas, went there and she made the announcement and she said, yes, we're doing it. We continue in the 150. Less than 6 weeks later, I don't know what it was with them in 6 weeks. Less than 6 weeks later, they change it and they come and they they didn't even inform the people, and the people just went for the money and they don't get it. Who fall down, who couldn't reach back home, all kind of titivation. Yeah? Because they didn't even inform these people that they're taking away the 150 from them. As far as the people knew, according to Minister Gloria Thomas, they were to receive that 150 again. But before the payment could be made again, whoops, the 150 disappeared. And then what they do when they start to get backlash on it, they come and they start to say, oh, the NNP is the NNP. Everything, blame the NNP, is the NNP. Yeah? Is the NNP. That is what they always come with. Yeah? And again, some of the things I say in that chat there, I can't come and say that. Lord, if I say some of the things all these people that we put it in the chat there for me to say, I ended up in real trouble. 4407377. And what are the listeners are saying? The reason why they're rushing to close down the small business just for the rich, because the hotels have spas and they're thinking that the poor people giving them competition. That's a possibility. All right. Let me see what another listener is saying here. Okay, they're speaking about another issue there. All right. And let me see on the chat here. All right. Yeah, because I mean, some people are actually trying to defend all of this, sir. Some people are trying to defend what is going on here. When it comes to the vendors, had it been the New National Party, it would have taken a longer period of time to do it. And it may have even done it in phases so that people don't lose their livelihood. Remember what I'm saying here. This is a business that people are operating that as of today, they can't operate that business as of in the morning. In other words, they're unemployed. They were self-employed. And as of in the morning, these people are unemployed. These are people that were contributing to the economy that you have just put in a position that they don't know what to do. The farmers who used to go over to the stadium with their vehicles and so, they said they have not been spoken to. What do they do? Do they go and just park up in town and decide they go in and sell at the side of the market? Are they being given a space in the market that they know now, hey, this is where I'm going to bring my goods and services? And then remember, your market manager is out on maternity leave now. So who is managing the market? At the same point in time that you're doing something like this, one of the most important people that you should have to have around, unfortunately, is not there. So what is going on? And you have people trying to defend this. You're trying to defend this, innit? So you're jumping out. NNP is not in office now. NDC is in office. But remember, and I want you all to always remember what they said. Let me just put it up here for you. I want you to always remember what they said here. Let me just put that to play.
And folks, let me just say something before I end. Some administration, they are afraid to take the tough decisions early. But we are not afraid. That is why our Prime Minister said he's going to transform Marketing Board. I understand the Lagoon Road. I understand the Lagoon Road was there to be worked on before, but they had no guts. They had no belly. I heard the Wall Street had to be, idea was being, was there for the Wall Street to be transformed, but they had no guts. They have no belly. Listen, we have belly and we have guts, and we are going to take the tough decision, right? And we are going to do it early. And you know why early? Let me tell you why early, right? Because some people would not buy into it early. But if you give them chance for them to see it and for the thing to materialize, then we will get buy-in.
Yeah, folks. So you hear it. That's why they're doing this kind of thing, and they're hoping that by election you forget what they do to you. Yeah, that's what some of them hoping, that by election you forget what they do to you. We have a caller online.
Sheldon, good night.
Hi, good night.
And good night to the talking point family and the supporters of the new national party, the best party in the world.
Of course.
Sheldon, when I listen to the program and I look at what is going on in Grenada, this government, the National Democratic Congress, and their supporters who are supporting them blindsidedly do not like to hear the word market. Do you realize that the Market and National Importing Board was closed without any proper consultation, without any proper information given to the Grenadian public? We go in there and buy stuff, and as customers, and we were not even given nothing substantial to say, this is the reason why you're closed, right? They didn't file anything as bankruptcy, but they just say they owe a certain amount of money. You could owe a certain amount of money and you're still not bankrupt. And on the other hand, I don't want to take up much time. Now you have market vendors. So anything that relates to market and in Grenada, it doesn't seem that this government like it at all. You know, they do not like it. So it seems, and they're trying to say agriculture is one of the main, you know, main focus. As the labor minister would have said recently, I think as of the May Day celebration, she would have made that point that education is one of them. I don't know which part of education she is talking about, which aspect of education, which aspect of bringing betterment to the Grenadian people as a labor minister, and you send so much workers and women in particular, females, in care for home. What is really going on with this government? They're really anti-worker and they're anti-market. And anything that's related to progress, they're anti-progress. So what are we doing with a government like that, as Ms. Carney says? Time to get, they say, boots on the ground. Time for us to start matching those boots and letting them know that we are the ones who put them in office and we can take them out there because they're very incompetent and inexperienced. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Thank you. And folks, remember that the caller talk about marketing board. As far as we know, marketing board wasn't supposed to be closed. And I think is who's talking here?
Well, and let me just say that we are not closing down MNIB. I think the Prime Minister said that option is not on the table, right? The idea is how can we make it more efficient, right? And so that is why we wanted to have consultation with the people so that when making our decision, we can be guided accordingly. But we are not closing down MNIB.
Yeah, that is not me talking, eh? That is the MIT minister. Yeah, let me see again.
Well, and let me just say that we are not closing down MNIB. I think the Prime Minister said that option is not on the table, right? The idea is how can we make it more efficient, right? And so that is why we wanted to have consultation with the people so that when making our decision, we can be guided accordingly. But we are not closing down MNIB.
Yeah, that's the same $2 million loan individual. Yeah, the same $2 million loan individual and thing. Yeah. The same individual who has tax liabilities to the government of Grenada of, what's the figure? $2,269,366.51. All right. Well, that was the tax liabilities. It's increased now because interest has been added for the past 2 weeks, right? So at as of last 2 weeks ago, right, $2,269,366.51 in total tax liabilities. And if they were to go and pay that off, they would be able to save out of that. They would be able to save. Remember, they have a tax amnesty. So if Mr. Minister goes in and pays the base amount that he owes, which is $567,181.36. Now, that doesn't change. That's the exact amount that he has to pay. All right? $567,181.36. If he goes in and pays that, he will be forgiven by the Treasury, by the Minister of Finance, who's saying on the same cabinet with him. He would be forgiven by the Minister of Finance $1,702,185.15. Right? So remember, it's corporate income tax liabilities. Yeah, that is kind of like $1,080,000 $801,173.82. Again, as I'm saying, these figures have changed. They haven't gone down. They have gone up. So it's more money now because you're adding interest on it by the day, on a daily basis. So the figure that we called is now higher. All right? But the base figure, the amount that he owes, unless he didn't file anything again this year, I don't know. So $567,181.36. That is his liabilities to the government of Grenada. And in total, his tax liabilities, $2,269,366.51. But then we also remember the Prime Minister, he was speaking about the GDP. What did the Prime Minister have to say about the GDP? Yeah, all you remember? What did our Prime Minister, let me see if I could find it. I must have it somewhere here, man. We must be able to play what the Prime Minister had to say about the GDP. Where are they? I think I have it there. Yeah, that is it there. Nice. Let me pull it up here, and let me see if I could pull it up there too. And that was before he was the Prime Minister. So let me hear what he had to say about the GDP before he became Prime Minister.
It is, again, Grenada Development Bank, in my view, should be a bank that is focusing on the development of Grenada by encouraging the productive and business sectors. That's where the focus should be. If that happens, if you give our entrepreneurs loans, if you give our business people loans to help them grow their business, to help them weather the consequences of COVID-19, they will provide more employment. So to me, GDP should be focusing on helping to grow and expand the private sector by providing necessary financial support that is required to encourage growth, to encourage businesses, to encourage entrepreneurship, to encourage our creative arts, right? And if you do that, then the private sector will grow and more persons will have sustainable employment. And there would be no need, in my view, to engage in these kinds of gimmicks. Because let's put it this way. If you're on contract work and you get a loan and the contract is not renewed 1 year from now, how are you paying the loan? So you've been put into a debt trap. And if the purpose of the loan was to buy land or to build a house, then you're going to lose the land and you're going to lose the house because you don't have sustained employment. And that is why I said we have to go back to this question. The real issue that needs addressing is not putting our citizens in a position where when they work.
So again, yeah, that's the Prime Minister when he was not opposition leader, but leader of an opposition party that had no seats. Yeah, that is what he had to say about the GDP. But what did he do when he came into the GDP? Yeah, he sat there as Minister of Finance when, by all indications, two ministers received, hold on the calls while I'm making the point, significant loans from the GDP. Significant. You only hear what the man had to say about the GDP, innit? So he sat there. And even worse, it means that these two ministers were sitting in cabinet when the names that formed the GDP board were discussed. And then these same people were able to give loans to them. And one of the persons just happens to be Mr. Patrick Simmons. And we see Mr. Patrick Simmons had another document that passed through cabinet in it. He had a document that passed through cabinet that made him an advisor. Yeah? And then one of the people that make him, well, two, from what we're hearing, two of the people that made him an advisor were able to obtain multi-million-dollar loans from the GDP. Meanwhile, they can't say they're going and put a 10 million inside there and give a 4,000 or 5,000 to each of the allied healthcare professionals for them to be able to go through the licensing and registration process properly. But two people get over $1 million who just happen to have been sitting in cabinet when the names of members of that board, the chairperson of the board happens to be the treasurer of the NDC. And her name also passed through cabinet too, as an advisor. And then I think she was running the CES program, right? And then her name had to pass through the same cabinet that the same two people get the loans. Yeah, for the two people in the cabinet, they get the loans. And the names of all those people who approved the loan had to pass in front of them. And some of these people names passed more than once. like Mr. Simmons, who is an advisor and also a member of the board of the GDB, like Ms. Andrea St. Bernard, who is an advisor and the chairperson of the GDB board. And you're telling me that that's right? You're telling me that something is that smells right to you? That smells like what? Christian Dior? Or one of those expensive perfumes or whatever they are? That smells right to you? The thing smells wrong. And then they're trying to give the impression that the loans were okayed during the period of time at the New National Party. That's what they're trying to give the impression. Oh, people apply for the loans then and it was approved afterwards. How could it be approved after the New National Party come out when as of the 23rd of June, some members of the board resign right after? The first working day, some people resigned from the board then. So the board couldn't have no meetings. And the board dare not have a meeting to deal with anything financial when a new government take over. So they lie. So it had to be the new board that was appointed from our estimation by August, because as far as we're concerned, that board is still illegal because it has not been gazetted. That's part of the law that the board has to be gazetted. It has not been gazetted. They sent out a gazette last week. They so don't care because they believe they're just in charge and they don't care nothing about none of you. So they so don't care. Even after we've raised the issue that the board has to be gazetted, they didn't even take shame out of the eye. They didn't even try to take shame out of the eye and say, let's gazette it so that at least it's there. Let's try to gazette it. They didn't even try to do that. So the board is still not gazetted. I know if they could try it this week, but then it would mean that all what the board do before is illegal. Yeah? All that the board do before is illegal. As far as I am concerned. And then I hear in another story, I hear in about a third loan. I ain't want to say nothing much yet. I hear in about a third loan to a third person who is categorized as one of the people that should not receive a loan. If they think I didn't know, I know. So not only that I'm hearing 1, 2, I'm hearing of a third loan. So it's not just 1 or 2, I'm hearing 3. So I'm hearing of a third loan of a person who, for all intents and purposes, should not qualify for a loan from the GDB. Another person who's trying to use the excuse that they apply for it during NNP time. Yeah? A hearing of a third loan. So we're going to hear further in relation to that. Let me go back to the phone line. 440-7377. You can call direct or you can call on WhatsApp. And 347-329-3101. You can call. Yeah. I wonder if I have a tune for that, boy. I wonder if I have a tune for all that's in there right now. Let me see. Oh, no, somebody's calling. Let me get this call on the WhatsApp. Let me see if I get this call on the WhatsApp. I wonder what's going on with this thing here. Nice. I think I have it there now. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good night, John. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. You're live. Go right ahead.
Very good. Nice, great. The Lagoon Road project is Camp Nicholson project. So so whatever the government is making noise about, there's no part and play of it. Probably the Ministry of Planning may have played a part, okay? And that could be understood. I mean, and Soup Master is still waiting for his business to go back up. He was told, I think, 2 weeks to get back up and running. Now it's almost 2 months and there is no one there. Okay? And next thing I want you to emphasize is that about belly and guts. Okay? Dr. Mitchell have already admitted that marketing board was not run properly. And he admitted that, right? But he still have more belly and guts to run that business and find the money to pay the people and keep them working. Yeah, to keep them working. He didn't send home nobody, spite the fact. Yeah, spite the fact they was paid all the 90 workers or whatever the amount of workers were. Nobody was sent home. So he knew exactly where to find the money. And nobody was short paid. So when you talk about belly and guts, come to the reality of it. because within 6 months, they shut it down. So now you tell me who have more belly and guts. Yeah? Because if you tell me who have more belly and guts, yeah, he ain't going to borrow no $2.8 million to go and pay off business loan. Yeah, he find the money and he put it in the hands of the people. Yeah? So at least think twice before we speak. Yeah?
All right.
Okay, good night.
All right, my friend. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. I'm trying to put something together here to play for you all. Yeah, all you realize I'm playing things. Yeah, tell all it tonight we playing stuff, right? Nice. I tell all we playing things tonight. So let me see. I wonder if we have anything what the Prime Minister say a while back. Let me see if we could hear what the Prime Minister had to say there. Boy, I wonder.
Me re-emphasizing the point of not wanting to be a hypocrite. I think we must accept that there's been a culture that has been built in Grenada of fear, of victimization, where people are afraid to just do basic things like just speak honestly, or just say this doesn't make sense from a government or a Grenada perspective, for fear that they would be transferred here or lose their job, or some child of theirs who's in the Imani program will come off the Imani program. I mean, that I think has really held us back, because there are a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, a lot of solutions to the challenges we face. But because of the system that has been built, they are outside of that, because you can't criticize, you can't offer constructive criticism, you can't open your mouth, you can't seem to associate with someone who, and I think that has held back our country. And I think in a sense, hence the reason why, a rally was called Liberation Sunday, because it was really about saying, we want people to speak freely. I want you to criticize me if you don't think what I'm doing is right, because on reflection, you may be right. And it's an opportunity for me to grow and improve and to serve better. But it also may be that you're wrong. And after I'm able to have the discussion with you, I can demonstrate to you, okay, maybe my position is better. And that's how we both grow. But if you have a situation where we're pretending that one set of people have all the ideas, one set of people have all the answers, we will not progress as a country. So I think that has resonated with people.
You believe that what he said there is what is in operation right now? That's him as Prime Minister. He was Prime Minister at the time that he did that already. That he said that, yeah? Do you believe that that is in operation, what he's been speaking about there, that, they're going to be, they're interacting and they're not being hypocrites and they will listen to people and so on? Were they listening to the vendors? Were they listening to the allied healthcare professionals? Were they listening to them? You find their song like they were listening to anybody? You find they look like they care anything anybody say? And as soon as you talk, they have paid people who are paid by the National Democratic Congress, yeah, to jump on the phone and call and try to distress you. They can't distress me. They could do whatever they want. They can't distress me. Or to go online and to just say the nastiest things and try to take the conversation away from something sensible that you have posted. So anytime you go and you post something, they're taking note of you. Imagine, I've spoken to several people who work in the public service and who work in statutory bodies. You know what they've been told? If they go and they make a mistake and they comment under this live, they get a call in the morning from their supervisor. That is the kind of, and we're free to speak in this country. Prime Minister, for what took place with myself last week, you need to speak to your supporters. Because this is organized, this is directed by the NDC, those sort of behaviors that we see taking place online. And it will move from online into the public. About he's engaging with the media and he meeting with people and he talking with people and everybody must be free to speak. Why doesn't he make himself available for a weekly post-cabinet press briefing that the media could ask him questions? Why does he not make himself available instead? You go Dubai. You're a CBI agent. In other words, you have a company as a CBI agent. Your name is on the government CBI site right now. Mitchell and Company belongs to who? Mitchell and Company. Who is the principal in that organization? Even if it have others, it's named Mitchell and Company. or Mitchell and Partners. Your name, Deacon, how much people name Deacon in Mitchell's and Partners? Your email is there. Yet still, you left this country, went out with one of the local CBI organizations, went out to Dubai, and up to now, no report has come back to the Grenadian people at all. Why you went, what you did when you went there, what are the benefits to the Grenadian people when you went there. None of that is there. And remember, you are on record. You are on record saying that you're willing to take money from CBI investors. You're on records. In fact, let me just play that one here. I'll just play the audio tonight.
Would CBI be funding your campaign in any way?
I don't know if CBI will be funding my campaign in any way. But I would say this, given what I've said about the CBI campaign, if there are persons in the CBI who wish to donate to the National Democratic Congress, I will certainly accept the funding.
Yeah. If there are persons in CBI who are willing to donate to the National Democratic Congress, he will certainly take the funds. So we don't know if the CBI people that he went out and meet with in Dubai donated to his campaign. They like to talk about briefcase. Anybody been checking here on? Yeah? Yeah, the GDP man and the man with the van, both of them gone outside. Anybody checking their briefcase when they like to talk about briefcase? Who checking theirs? Yeah? Who checking Andrea own when she go and she come back? Who checking the suitcase? Either there or here. Who checking it? But at the end of the day, them is the ones like to talk about briefcase. Yeah, they want to bring that back up and all kind of thing. And then anytime you talk out in this country, they want to threaten you. Oh, we're going to send the FIU. And don't worry with him, man. The FIU go deal with him. Careful, the Grenadian people don't deal with all you before all you deal with anybody. I always remember a good friend of mine, long deceased, God bless her soul, named Norma. Norma, every time I see Norma in a rally, Norma was a public servant, and coming up to 2013, every time I see Norma, say, Norma, oh God, Norma, they go fire you. Norma say, I don't care. I don't bother in with them. After the election, when I saw Norma at the ministerial complex, because that had become a thing, every time I see her, Norma, they go fire you. I went up to her and I said, Norma, they go fire you. She said, Mr. Scott, you're rich. I fire the ass first though. So be careful. Be careful how all you're treating people. And don't think all of us out here are stupid. Don't think we don't have the information to be able to show that all you're lying. Because all they keep trying, every time they get cornered on an issue, is NNP. Anytime they get cornered on an issue. So Allied Healthcare, or is NNP do that? They take back the 150, or is NNP do that? Yeah? The vendors have to move. They go find a way to blame NNP, because they're saying now is NNP people in the ministry that causing the vendors to have to move. Every minute they're trying to blame anything that come negative, they're trying to blame NNP for it. That is the way they operate. Well, blame NNP for the Prime Minister of the country, whose portfolio the CBI program had fallen under. I don't know if it's still there as he moved out from Ministry of Finance. I must check to see if it's under Prime Minister's ministry or if it's under the Ministry of Finance. But whose portfolio the CBI program was under was still an agent, and now the present Minister of Finance is still a CBI agent as well. Eh? Just remember that. So if CBI moved from one agent to another one in charge of it. But the bottom line is that portfolio fell directly under the Prime Minister. He's an agent for the program. He selected the committee for the program. So his company can go out and find people for CBI and bring to a committee that he select, who have to okay the people to send to him to sign for the citizenship. Not the passport. To sign for the citizenship, and then they could get their passport. Prime Minister doesn't sign for passport. Yeah? That's the chief immigration officer and them there. But when he signed for your citizenship, technically he is allowing you to get a Grenadian passport because you are now a Grenadian citizen. So you think that any of the people that he meet in Dubai going to fail through the committee? Remember who is the boss, you know. Remember who could move them any day he wants. Who could decide that I'm removing this member of the committee and putting somebody else. And you know, I have to check to see if that CBI committee was gazetted. That's a task I haven't followed up on yet. But I'll do that over the weekend, I assure you all. I have to follow up and see if the CBI committee has been gazetted. Yeah? Because when I see some of the names on the GDB board, Papa, I could understand why they... I could understand why they want to gazette it. But it just shows that these people don't care. They believe they're in charge. They believe they hold the reins of power and they don't have to answer to anybody. So in the same way they rush the data protection bill, they rush the data protection bill. Has that benefited you yet? Has that benefited anybody yet? Have you heard that we got the money that they say they had to rush it because and bring it by a certain time because we have money to get? You all hear anything about that yet? Yeah? Because they ain't even coming out and talk to you all. As we say, they fly in more than Ligaroo. For those of you who are outside of Grenada that may not understand the terminology we use when we say Ligaroo, we mean a witch. So in your context, it would be a witch on a broom. In the Grenadian context, it's a Ligaroo. Yeah? They fly in more than Ligaroo in full moon. Every minute you look for them, they're in the air. But yet still, they wouldn't come back and say, this is what we have gained. They speak about the minister in St. John. She went out. In fact, you know what? We go talk about the minister in St. John. They speak about the minister in St. John. Oh, she's gone to a high-level meeting. So you're telling me she come back, they couldn't have a little press gaggle. They couldn't have a little press conference or something for the minister to say, well, I went to the trip. This is what we got for Grenada and so on. Nothing like that. No, they just leave it out totally. Ministers going all over. Instead of bringing back money, NDC ministers go in and lose money. So they go in Barbados and lose money. Then they come trying to, what again? Blame NNP. So when they take $150 from poor people, they blame NNP. They lose the money in Barbados, they blame NNP. They lose a next set of money again in relation to our next project, they blame NNP. Everything that is negative towards them, blame NNP. But when the Mount Kuma road do, they take praise NDC. Why they didn't blame NNP for the Mount Kuma road? Yeah? For all the infrastructural works that are taking place in Carriacou and Petit Martinique that was scheduled to take place from the time of the new National Party, funding provided, contractors contacted. Why did they blame NNP for that too? Why did they blame NNP for the houses in Carriacou that they take back from the people? Why did they blame NNP for that too? Why did they blame NNP for not pursuing the court case when it came to pensions? Because they want to give this impression that they pay pensions. Who leave the money for them to be able to pay the pensions? Where they get the money from? They brought in the money when they come. They found money in the treasury to be able to pay the pensions. So it's not them pay the pensions. It's still, why they blame NNP for leaving the money there? Why they blame NNP for starting the process of pension restoration? It wasn't the NDC government that started it. It was the new National Party that started it. And one of these days I'm going to ask on Senator Chester Humphrey to come and talk about that because he knows about it a lot more than me. Because it was the new National Party that started that process. And it was completed. But if the NNP had gone and paid the pensions around the time of the elections, you know what those same people that jumping up and dancing and whining in the road like idiots would have say? They would have say, oh, NNP trying to buy people. You see the rush and they pay the pensions now? The same people now that want to give somebody else the praise for paying it, you know. You feel they don't know, I don't know how they mouth twist. So how they mouth twist until they had to put nutmeg inside it to straighten it. Because that is what they would have say. If the NNP had gone and paid at that point in time, it would have say political gimmicks, all kind of thing. And they knew that the new National Party would have paid. You already started this stuff with the Pension Secretariat and that to gather the names. You had already started the process of paying pensions and they want to deny that, you know. Millions of dollars in pensions were already paid out to various categories of workers. This one, had to deal with a broader category. And they know that. Yet still they want to give the impression, yes, NDC pay the pension, they promised to go pay the pension. They had no choice. There was a court ruling in relation to it. The money was there. So they paid. The election was done, you know. You can't come and say that, oh, they paid because they was trying to win the election or something like that. So they paid. That is an achievement too. To pay a bill and next man leave and all the money was there and everything and you just come and take the credit for it. Folks, you know what? That's all the time we have for this week. Yeah, I'm sorry to drop it like that, but that's all the time we have for this week. It's been wonderful being here on Talking Points with you for this week. And indeed, the care and concern that has come out from literally hundreds of you, I thank you all so very much. Love each and every one of you. And in everything you say and do it safe and secure because I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. And you know, I wonder, looking for a song to end this week with, but the only song I could find is probably one for somebody who is a CBI agent and the Minister of Finance. So folks, that's all the time. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. I am out.
Carnival time I come out to party. A drinking rum and a drinking whiskey. Plenty people go feel like crazy. A drumming Joan and Emily. In the dance all away.